Hello and welcome to UKVersus. I got distracted because Colin's currently just looking at the promos. We are here to talk about the massive amount of news we've had this week. I am joined by Richard, of course, but unfortunately his internet is down, so he is here through audio only at the moment. I'm joined by totally not named Dan and NNBA, as in not in the NBA, Charles Barkley.
That's me.
Yeah. Hello, everyone.
Before we get started into everything, Richard, how was local qualifiers?
Yeah, it was good. We had 8 of us. So 7 of us locals, and then Nat travelled down from Gillingham. Really good to see him again.
Hey.
Part of the UK team champs. Really nice guy. I played Life Emir, who felt cracked, honestly. Except round 1, I got paired into Toru 2, who's possibly the worst matchup. Just because I want to build and Toru wants me to build, and I don't have much life. So, and yeah, I decked horribly anyway, but not unwinnable, but not a good matchup. And then just won my other 2 rounds, like just build ridiculous turn 1, and then flip on turn 2 or turn 3, and then just kill them. Yeah, the deck feels really, really good.
Nice, I know,
there's certainly some changes I'd make to the list I played today. Like I played a couple of rejuve smashes, and I wasn't really happy with them. I might want to try out the whole pigeons package in a, like, pigeons, wild pussycats, that sort of thing. But like the sort of central package of like Tetra Terra, Dual Needle Lunge, her secret rare. And like the key part of our kit is new training method, just because you can easily build sort of 6-7 turn 1, even going first sometimes, but going second, like I've built 8 turn 1. But yeah, the deck feels really, really good. You got plenty of defense. Like you've got you're a 7-hander, but you've got main deckable throw defense in the fire foundation, flip -2/3 speed, lose throw. So like throws aren't too bad against you. And yeah, you've got, like I said, plenty of defensive options. Then like probably the second best foundation, if not the first. Like it's between New Training Method and Immortal Shapeshifter. Like you get like 1 or 2 of those out, and then once you flipped, like attacks are very quickly coming in for like +10 damage. Yeah, she just sort of goes insane.
Yeah,
and you're playing
crazy.
Yeah,
it
sounds
like you're playing like door
a...
jammers and other throws, and yeah, there's a lot of good stuff going on, and like I'm just sort of tweaking with the list, but I'm having a lot of fun with it. But yeah, Toru was just a bad matchup because a lot of the time you're trying to do things like cheap progressive and stuff with her secret rare, and just being able to bounce the thing you cheap progressive or kind of gets around that.
That makes sense.
Yeah.
I mean, it sounds like you've got almost the premise of a full video on Ymir yourself there anyway.
Not really, because Chris sort of has done one really, and it's sort of virtually the same list as Chris has put out. So that's Brody one. He was playing sort of the pigeon stuff. I wasn't, but they're mostly the same list, so it's sort of duplicating what Chris has already put out there. So no need to necessarily there. But yeah, it's something I really enjoyed. What else did we have? We had a Toru, we had a Gentle Criminal. We had 2 Bertolts, one of whom won the thing, and we had a Chew, who I did win, but I did get knife edged game 2 against him.
So you lost. You should just concede if you get knife edged deathmatch. That's the way it works.
That is fair. What else did we have?
Match is ridiculous. If you play into it, no.
And then we had a Ryukyu. I think that was it.
Oh no!
And we had a Levi, not Levi. The Eren, the sort of spike Eren.
Yeah, super aggressive, and now to go to our guest after a very long explanation. Corin and Charles, how have you guys been? We'll start off with Corin because I know you've had a local qualifier recently, and I don't know too much about your local scene there, Charles.
Oh, wait. The Sheffield local qualifier? Oh. I don't remember what I played in recently.
Yeah, the Sheffield local qualifier was last week. It was, I think Liam took it down with Krista.
That sounds about right. God, what was I playing? That would have been the updated version of my Ragdoll, right?
Nice.
Yeah, I've been working on Ragdoll for quite a while because Ragdoll gets to say run one copy of Zeru's Flames, find it before you can check it, throw it down, just commit your opponent's entire board out, and then string out one turn for attacks. The problem with that is it has to be on air, which just doesn't have the damage, or at least didn't prior to Attack on Titan. Attack on Titan, we get Ascend to Battle, which just comes down as an 11 damage attack. Ridiculous. Problem then becomes how you actually continue to make all the checks for that.
That's fair. And Charles, what have you been playing recently?
All right. I've tried a little bit of Attack on Titan Spotlight into my locals. I've been playing Hannes.
Oh, nice.
And that's been a lot of fun to do all the wall building. It's actually pretty easy to get to a really high wall counter very quick, especially if you have the Fortify Walls card. That foundation really easily ramp you up into like 5-7 damage quick, and then just scare people with big numbers. Or more accurately, what I've found is I've really enjoyed leading off with one big attack to commit most of their resources, and then having a bunch of those 3-diff attacks that are, an easy to check that come in with low numbers, but when you're adding 5 damage, all of a sudden that 4 high for 10 is a lot scarier.
Are you running any War Maria's Might?
I do not believe so.
Ooh.
But my list is 80 cards right now. I'm just playing a bunch of stuff until I start trimming stuff out. But I also had I went down to Chicago to see Brody won at his, and they had a case event where 2 cases were on the line yesterday.
Yeah, I saw. I think did George win it?
Yep, George won it. I brought Biako on Earth. Yep, I love the big cat. It's my deck of choice right now. I ran into a Mikasa round 1, and that was an experience. Turns out they have multiple lightning rods. Even 38 health is not enough. And I thought that was an interesting thing to find out.
Yeah, did any of you face this beast? The Nezu deck that loops Genkai's Guidance.
Yep.
Not face that one yet.
The second Genkai's Guidance came out, we had a couple people trying that out at local. Me being one of them.
It is a crazy deck. It doesn't necessarily win, but it gets very close all the time.
Yep. I think that honestly, it took a big hit. Him and Botan from Mop.
You're not playing this Nezu if you care about Mop Strike. This Nezu runs 8 attacks. 4 of them are just Dimensional Sphere to block with.
Yeah, but you can play it with it, and then trigger your opponent to draw, and then draw off them drawing.
Yeah, I get how Mop Strike was good in more aggressive builds of him, but in a more defensive build, you just remove everything. And so you go against Mikasa, you remove like 4 attacks, and then she still kills you that turn. It's ridiculous. And that's why I'm bringing that up. It's because when Mikasa high rolls, she high rolls through most of her attacks being removed from the game. Just turns that would completely shut down any other deck.
Yeah, I found that playing against Mikasa, just sort of testing the other day. Like, they went first, played a 2-diff, checked a lightning rod on the second one, so I only built 1 turn 1. And I'm playing Amir, so I'm like, they only built 1 foundation. I'll be fine. So literally built my entire hand, built 8 foundations. I'm like, right, you're dead next turn. And then they went lightning rod, and put me to 1.
Hard.
Just after building 1 turn 1, but then obviously
God,
they didn't kill me, so then I killed them on the crackback. But yeah, no, I watched some of the Mikasa versus the Recovery Girl on stream from that event yesterday. And that was a really fascinating matchup to watch.
Yeah, so it's quite a diverse meta at the minute with lots of people trying lots of stuff before we hit regionals in October. And speaking of regionals in October, we got the promos this week before we go into like the big news. And I absolutely love these. I know some people are disappointed that they're not MHA. I know some people are thrilled they're not MHA. But how do we feel about textless character promos?
Totally fine.
If they allow us to clear sleeve them with a copy of the version with text, that's great. Just so that we can flip them over, have the text there to refer to when needed.
Yeah.
Well, I think if you play them in a tournament, you're going to need a copy of the character with you anyway, like the text version. But like, you know, they're promo characters, right? They don't necessarily need to be the most functional. They can be as pretty and as wild as they want to because they're promo versions, so it doesn't matter.
Yeah, they look fantastic. And I also really like that it's a version of Godzilla with the red-blue effect going on. I can wear my 3D glasses with it.
Other card games do this all the time. Textless promos like this are some super highly sought after stuff. I think they knocked it out of the park. These movie poster ones are probably some of the coolest cards PS games have done. I couldn't be happier with them.
I mean, if like 15 years ago, probably or something like that, Magic could do a textless cryptic command. We can have a textless character.
That's fair.
Textless cryptic command was a mistake, but there were a lot of other things like textless Doomblade that were perfectly fine.
But I've tracked down the 3 movies these are from, and I've got a video coming out about them. The King Ghidorah one is insane.
Oh, nice.
Most Godzilla movies are insane, to be honest.
Yeah,
if you actually look at the plot.
Yeah, when you're looking at the plot of the King Ghidorah one, I left it to last when I was doing the video on it because CNN did a video on it when it did a whole section on it when it came out.
I'm not going to say anything too specific. I don't want to give the video away. Is it the one with time travel?
It is the one with time travel.
Oh, hell yeah.
There you go. And then we got the side event and placement promos, which come from Godzilla Rage Across Time, which is a very, very cool comic series, I believe.
Yeah, these are the ones that I'm really excited for because that lighting on Godzilla's mouth, the flames on monster aggression, all the sort of flower-like effects on... And that third one, they put it on Tough Skin. Tough Skin is a terrible card. Why did you have to put such good art on such a bad card? That's my only complaint about them because they all look wonderful.
You need 0 diffs at some point.
Yeah, I mean, it just means you're not playing it, you're just going to frame it. I mean, I've got lots of framed bad cards behind me.
Fair. The only frame card I have, well, not even really framed, it's in a giant card sleeve.
I mean, I like it. I'm glad we've not got My Hero. I think mainly people are hoping for sort of UU or Attack on Titan. But I guess they probably don't have a lot of extra art to go around for UU, especially stuff in terms of they can make look special on a promo. I guess people were hoping for Attack on Titan, but I'd imagine that maybe come sort of national season, those would be Attack on Titan, I would guess. And Godzilla was very big, was very popular, so it makes sense that they get the promo treatment this time around.
Hey, Godzilla was huge, and the Godzilla cards have definitely dominated the meta. So seeing the Godzilla cards available as promos, those are promos that are going to see use. They look beautiful. I don't see anything wrong with it at all.
Yeah, no,
I think it was a great choice.
I think the playmats were handled really well. I think, like you said, these are absolutely great choices. Any anything more on the promos before we move over to the roadmap?
And the one thing I don't like is the champion ones just say champion in the background.
That seems to just be the theme, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I think that sort of, again, people would like there to be better pricing, right, for the top level players, like in terms of like the top finishers, like whether that's like chromes or
I was kind of hoping it would
promos
be
rather than just the same ones with the champion on it, right? Like as in, like we've got those old kind of, rejuve smashes or whatever they were sort of from last year. Just a card you could only get by top finish, so they're a bit more exclusive. Therefore, you clearly have a bit more value to them. But
I was kind of hoping that we. Well, I'll let you go, Charles.
Oh, yeah, that's the huge controversy right now. Is how bad the pricing is. So people are literally leaving it for other games just because they don't feel like they're getting rewarded for their time and efforts.
Yeah.
Hopefully that's something that UVS is aware of and they will be addressing. I know we're going to hopefully be seeing the 20. If now we've seen the IP roadmap, we might hopefully see the organized play roadmap quite quickly as well.
Yeah, obviously we are able to have obviously that meeting with
the
UVS guys.
Yeah, we did, but I don't.
Yeah,
Charles or with part of that, so that's not.
There's obviously a lot. We're sort of waiting for the public announcement of everything we heard there. So,
but I think my biggest takeaway was I was expecting Mothra, Rodan, and Bionic Menace to be the champion cards, or to be the other like half of it, because we got the first three. It would have been really cool to see a Mothra champion card.
Yeah, absolutely. I would have loved that.
But then we did.
It could be another set of promos down the line too, or something redeemable after national or regionals.
Yeah, it's entirely possible the other characters show up elsewhere.
Yeah, my only disappointment outside of like it being Godzilla, although I'm not disappointed it's Godzilla, is that there isn't Dabby 1. Because we had Dabby 2 in Season 1, we had Dabby 3 in Season 2, and now I don't have a Dabby 1 promo to go with the rest.
My Dabby disappointment is still that they were promising us ages that we'd get alternate language versions of the cards. But I just really wanted French Dabby, because his French name is Crematorium, and that just sounds so badass. And we never saw them.
I mean, I guess it depends. It would be very cool. It would definitely help with mainland Europe for sure. Because I think one of the biggest issues is just not fully understanding cards. But yeah, no, I think these promos are really, really cool. I'm just disappointed that Dabby 1 is only represented in his symbols on the Dabby 3 promo from last season.
But yeah, it's never going to happen. You're never going to get a Dabby 1 promo. I'm afraid that time is gone.
We got the massive news. IGN dropped the new UKVersus trailer. UKVersus dropped it quite soon after with not even arguably just one hell of a banger of a tune. I messaged him directly going, "Can I get this on Spotify? I want to listen to it while building decks." Like, can you imagine? No, I don't. This isn't a joke. I want that song on Spotify.
I mean, sure.
That sounds like the Gen 2 Beyblade adverts, but done actually well.
Yeah, right. It did make me think of like 90s, early 2000s anime when you got like the 4Kids dubbed anime openings and you had like the Digimon and the Beyblades, all across the nation stuff.
Yeah, but the second generation of Beyblade, all the advert themes went hard into this street, this back street illicit competition thing going on, and it's all this badly done rap, and this was like that, but if the rap was actually of quality.
The kids love amateur rap.
Yeah, it was cool.
So what you're saying is we need a Josh versus Bill rap battle at some point.
Do it.
Yeah.
UVS rap battle. Let's bring back the Joffice, but as a rap battle.
I don't see that happening.
Can't deliver your news in the form of a rap battle. Is it really new?
Welcome to the UVS rap battle, the rap roadmap, which rhymes. So it's already off.
Yeah.
But I have not shut up about what I'm most hyped for on this list. So at solo leveling, I've been hyped about this, and I am so happy that as of this moment, it's going to be national legal. I'm going to be playing this at nationals no matter what. I'm going to be very annoying if this character is good because I will find a way to break him. This is my goal
So
now.
do we know what products are with which product line? Like, is solo leveling Clash, so Challenger decks, or is
Solo
it
leveling
so-
is Challenger deck.
The article went through it. We've known since June that solo leveling was coming. It was going to be Challenger. I've done a very good job of not telling anyone that. I'm very proud of myself. But the article that came out from UVS was Critical Role is a set, Attack on Titan is a set, Street Fighter is a Challenger, TMNT is a set, Guilty Gear is a set, and there is more to come with lots of little surprises coming on, which I imagine is going to be more Clash decks and Challenge decks as we go down. Because some people point out there's no MHA on there. I imagine we're going to see something from that in Challenger.
I believe they mentioned something about Challenger decks or possible a Challenger or Clash decks coming along with some of the sets.
Yep.
I don't remember the specifics of that, but I can tell you they did specifically say the Critical Role one has 20 characters in it,
Yes.
which is relevant because there are only 16 player characters in the entire series.
Oh, no, there's not. No,
No?
no, because I reached out to my friend who is currently working on the list of BBEGs and antagonists. Between Hell's Bells, Mighty Nine, and Vox Machina, there is 29 player characters. I have a
And they
profile.
don't necessarily be player characters, right? They could
No,
be key
that-
NPCs in the series as well.
Yeah,
Right.
So basically, the party members make up 29 from the 3 campaigns. Then you've also got your antagonists like the Dragons and the Briarwoods, which takes that number even higher. And
Okay, I've been misled then. Cool.
Yeah, I basically my friend Millie, huge shout out to her. She was out with her boyfriend, fiance, and she was writing me out massive paragraphs for each character, so I can do a video breaking down all the player characters within Critical Role. I'm very hyped for this because I think this is going to bring in a lot of people as well, and I really hope we get more solo leveling. Solo leveling is huge.
And when they announced the roadmap for last year, and then slowly went through the individual tweets, the tweet that got by far the most attention wasn't Attack on Titan, wasn't Godzilla, it was Critical Role. And it was something like double the attention of all the others.
The biggest one I've seen, and I think we were talking about this before we went live as well with Charles, solo leveling has got the widest appeal. From its mobile game to its manhwa to its anime, it hits so hard because it's the kind of anime a lot of us grew up on, but that has been diluted throughout. Like, it's not got fan service in any way, near shape, or form. It's just a good, solid anime about a guy who wants to save his family.
It's not for me.
It is. Oh, we watched a bit of it. Yeah, we watched a bit of it, didn't we? Yeah.
For context, in terms of its popularity in the United States, we sell it in the supermarket book section.
Really?
Where there are
what?
There are 2 other manga in there. Like, we get in, like at the grocery store I mainly go to, we get My Hero Academia, Attack on Titan. We'll get in some Jujutsu Kaisen, and we get in solo leveling. Those are the 4.
That's
what you're saying is we're getting JJK next.
Those are the ones. That's all I'm saying. Like, they sell.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I mean, I don't really know anything about it. It seems popular, so hopefully that's a good thing. Like, in terms of the Critical Role thing, I think although there was no sort of hints or leaks about it, like we weren't aware of it, but I think the idea there was going to be a booster set coming for Critical Role was always like something we would have assumed, right? Everyone assumed it was going to come eventually, and probably next, in 2025. So that makes sense.
The hint was
They
fresh
were-
cut grass, in that we got a Vox Machina character with no sign of a Vox Machina product in sight.
I mean, you
when
say
they
that.
were selling,
Go on, Charles, let you go.
yeah, when they were selling out at convention the Challenger decks, that's how you knew it was clearly a good enough product. Probably carry a booster set, because if you can show up somewhere random with product and it disappears, then clearly there's demand. So, good on them to use the Challenger deck system as a way to test out products instead of just trying a full booster release and not know what they're going to get.
Yeah, I mean,
So-
the moment they said challengers were a test, we're like, right, okay, so that's happening.
Yeah, I mean, the fact that Critical Role did a video using the challenge decks, you don't put that kind of time and investment into just a brief partnership. But on the other side of it, we've had a Spy Family promo set, and to go on what you were saying about Fresh Cut Grass, for me, it was the irony of Fresh Cut Grass getting dropped as a promo a week or two before his death. And people starting to pick it up as an in memoriam sort of thing.
Yeah. Some people weren't particularly cool with the email saying in memoriam 2 weeks later.
It was like a whole. They did like an in memoriam package, didn't they, where you could get the challenges and Fresh Cut Grass at a discounted price.
But they did it just as that episode came out, so people were seeing it as UVS is spoiling the show for us. So,
and then obviously we get the sort of conclusion of the Attack on Titan arc, right?
Yeah.
So
yeah. Which
like the third set. Yeah.
I'm sure we'll get some rumblings on that soon.
Yeah, rumbling.
I mean, we haven't even seen the second set yet, so
yeah.
No,
wait and see what happens with that one.
I do like that we've got Critical Role as a sort of like stopgap between Attack and Titan, because if they stick with the same 6 symbols attuned through all 3 sets, having that big set Critical Role to give all the symbols some support would be good.
Does this mean that Critical Role is going to end up being a set with the other 6 symbols then?
Don't know.
I mean, it's possible, right? It's certainly possible.
Yeah, they did say in the article that some symbols we dropped, some symbols we on there. I'm just happy to see some spell support.
Mm-hmm.
Yep, that's my big draw.
Spell definitely needed more support.
Solo levels will give spell support, and Critical Role give spell support. And it was one thing that when we saw in the challenges, people were like, who's going to ever have spells? These guys have got spells.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
So we do finally have something other than Critical Role that's giving spells.
So it depends on how they adapt Solo. It depends on how it goes through that translation process that Bill mentioned in the articles. But it depends if they treat them as abilities or if it treats the healing stuff as actual spells.
Yeah, because when you didn't give spells, I was very worried that spells would just never get support again.
I mean, Yu was designed a long time ago, though.
A lot of it certainly was designed back shortly before the pandemic.
Yeah, sure. Before MHA Set 1, really.
It was designed in tandem with MHA Set 1. They were in playtest together. I know because I was briefly involved in that playtest.
So let's give Charles a chance to speak and talk about the biggest swing of the 6, which is TMNT. A non-fighting game, non-anime.
It's a gigantic property, absolutely huge. It's ubiquitous in the United States. Everybody knows Turtles. It's one of those things that's going to be a good draw. I've actually had local casually mention it as a thing that would draw them in. People who don't play that, I'm at my card shop, and they're like, "Yeah, tell me when TMNT comes out," and now I can do that. So we'll see if they actually hold true to that. But it's a gigantic property. No matter which version they're touching, it's still going to be a draw, and it's still a very cool property with a ton of possibilities. I'm really excited for it.
I've got this image of you in a cloak going up to these people, tapping on the shoulder. It's like, time to fulfill your oath. TMNT.
Oh, yeah.
TMNT has joined the game. It is time for you to learn.
Yep. Street Fighter and Tekken are also in that boat for things that I've had people tell me when this hits. I'm like, well, Tekken's coming out in October, buddy.
The biggest,
Real soon.
The biggest thing for me is TMNT drops in August, which means Gen Con promos.
Ooh.
Oh, okay.
If we can get the
Yeah, I guess
Turtles
my
Gen Con
only-
promos,
My only question with it would be like, what TMNT is it? Like, is it like old school cartoons? Is it like movies? Like, I guess what iteration of Turtles is it?
The images
Rob?
they've shown us look very modern cartoon,
Yeah.
but I wouldn't be surprised if there's also a lot of inspiration pulled from the beat 'em up games, because A, Jason was big into those back when he was pushing for TMNT, and B, it just goes along with the fighting game style design of this game.
yeah, the biggest issue is TMNT has a massive sort of drop point because you've got the 90s movies, which were kids' movies, you've got the kids' TV shows, and then you've got the comics. And you've got the comics where they literally like decapitate and kill people, and they are proper ninjas, sort of like ninja way sort of way. But from the trailer, I think it's more geared around the more recent series and movies sort of thing.
Yep, that's what it looked like in the trailer. That's fine. Like,
Yeah.
as long as I can get like a Baxter Stockman and a Rat King, my needs are met. Casey Jones, that's what I want.
Casey Jones, yeah,
Let me-
I think Casey Jones would be a great one.
Oh yeah, Casey Jones is probably a given. He could even be a shift attack like all the Titans, where he shows up, hits somebody with a hockey stick, and then is a backup for you.
Okay, so right, we know it's a booster set.
Yeah.
If we're talking, say, at least 10 characters, what you got the 4 Turtles,
5.
Splinter.
We do not, in this house, we do not forget Venus de Milo.
So,
The 4
as
Turtles,
per,
Splinter,
as per the previous
Shredder.
article,
April.
Okay, let's give Corin and Charles a minute to talk, and then we'll go over like,
Bebop and
the list of
Rocksteady.
characters.
as per the previous article, the minimum size they're doing for sets now, actual proper sets, is 150. So I doubt we're getting as little as 10 characters in that.
Yeah. So
Mhm.
yeah, so you got the 4 Turtles, Splinter, Shredder, April, Bebop, Rocksteady, Casey Jones.
Baxter,
Who the heck's
Krang.
Baxter?
yeah, you got Kane. You've got there's loads. I mean, if they're going off like the most recent adaptation, but you've got to remember, as Charles said, TMNT has been around for over 30 years at this point. It has got histories with Batman, Power Rangers. It has crossed over into every sort of aspect, and has also done some very, very weird stuff. And as well, you have got the things like Venus de Milo, which you point out, which then goes into the Chinese dragon villains. You can literally just have Foot Clan members being characters. I'd be happy to sit there and play a Foot Clan member.
Yeah, I guess my one question with the Turtles is who owns the license? I.e., like who owns the license to Teenage? Like who have they done a deal with to be able to use it? I.e., is that then like a leg in somewhere else?
Nickelodeon through Paramount, I believe. The same as
Yeah, it's a
That's a foot into a lot of things then.
yeah. Basically, his weekly mention. Mike Hardiman called this when we got Star Trek, because Star Trek is also owned by Paramount. And when he was talking, he was saying we can get TMNT. We had a full conversation about like getting Nicktoons, because Nickelodeon's owned by Paramount and Paramount owns Star Trek. So if they're working with Paramount, you can get all the Nickelodeon catalog, including TMNT.
that's fair.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's some exciting stuff then. The other thing I wanted to bring up regarding this, though, is you mentioned it being absolutely huge in the US. I'm pretty sure it's not nearly as huge here, but it is still a big name that's known. But
Yeah.
growing up in Spain, growing up and having holidays in Spain as a kid, it was absolutely impossible to avoid just sort of the prime time Teenage Mutant Hero Turtles on every day of the week. It was huge over there.
I think it might have been Rick and Morty or something that referenced it, being like, "Oh, I want to watch Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles." Like, is that still a thing? It's like it just keeps getting, because of its premise. it can be reshaped and remolded, the same as how we've got 3-4 different versions of Teen Titans, because the entire premise can be the characters are so good, the premise can be remolded to match any audience.
Well, I mean, comic books are designed for that anyway, but yeah, these ones do particularly lend themselves to it.
Yeah, the Turtles are in the action figure aisles right now. They had a movie last year. They have a current running cartoon show. Children's books come out with it. It's definitely a property that you see placed.
I've said it in Discord, and I'll say it here now because I know Bill listens to us. I want a vanilla foundation called Ice. All I want for TMNT. A vanilla foundation called Ice.
Why vanilla ice? I didn't get it.
Charles, do you want to say that one?
The Ninja Rap. The TMNT 2 had a song generated by rap icon Vanilla Ice. And it's the best song that's ever been made.
It is.
I used to play it when I was on the radio when they would because I had a call-in slot and people didn't call in. I'd make selection and I'd play like Shaq Rap or some Vanilla Ice, things like that. I'd go and find what the station would be like. Hey, please, we have all this in the probably don't play this vault. And I'd be like, oh, you mean the please Brent play this vault? And so I'd go grab it and fill in when people didn't bother to call in our call-in time.
That's what the idea.
But no, the Ninja Rap is an iconic song. Vanilla Ice deserves recognition in our game, UVS games. Please make it happen.
I just got the idea of someone tuning to your radio and going from Go Ninja, Go Ninja, Go to Shaq rapping about being a genie.
Yep.
Okay, I'm just scrolling through a list of the IPs they own. There's a lot.
Oh, Paramount owns a lot. Don't go down that hole. Paramount owns a lot.
Like Transformers, SpongeBob,
Sonic,
Indiana Jones.
You do keep getting all the same IPs Magic has. So Transformers would not be out there.
No, yeah, Transformers are sick. I'd be all about
that.
The fact that we've got licenses
Invaders in would be amazing.
Or G.I. Joe.
Yeah. The fact that we've got things with Warner Bros. And stuff means we could get a Pacific Rim kaiju battle with
I would
Kong,
love Pacific Rim
and Godzilla.
That would be
give
cool.
us Pacific Rim, come on.
Or even just like Neo Genesis Evangelion.
Oh, that'd be
Evangelion.
So, gonna go like a divergent off from UKVersus for a second. But if you look in one of the, I think I don't know if it was this Godzilla versus Kong or if it was the last one. But when they're going through the plans for the mecha for the mechs, there's a design for Gypsy within them because they're kind of already setting up this Pacific Rim crossover sort of thing.
Oh, that's cool.
Apparently, Warner Bros. Because they don't know who Toho are going to give them licenses to use in their movies, they always set up their own characters within the universe in case they need to quickly veer off and change the bad guy of the movie. That's my little division. We've also got Guilty Gear. Pippa did the job. Pippa's been posting daily for Guilty Gear for 200 days.
Guilty Gear is great.
I mean, that was the first thing up when I saw the announcement was immediately thought of Pippa because I saw that Guilty Gear were on it. I imagine the same for a lot of people.
They got tagged so much. They got tagged in every social media.
It did say Guilty Gear is a smaller set, probably around 100 cards, I'd guess, rather than 100.
Around 150 to 200.
150 to 250 is medium set size now.
Yep.
And
so they said
that means challenger, except this is a booster set.
At the end of the article, they did say we could see 100 card set possibly in the future.
Yeah, and I would guess.
I'll forget that.
Yeah, and I would guess if it's anything, that's what they meant by smaller set here in terms of boosters.
No,
because
I'd imagine around set 2 size.
I mean, Seventh Cross 4-card set, something like that. The original Yu Yu Hakusho was, and those are fine. So
Yeah, I tried Yu Yu Spotlight in the lead up to the new Yu Yu coming out, and it was terrible.
I mean, the new
it was
Yu
barely enough for a deck.
original Yu Yu isn't fine. It's like $200 a box, but
okay, I bought some before they were that much, so I had no problem picking a couple, and I had fun opening them. That's more what I meant. Is that the size of the size of the set wasn't a problem to open up pack wise.
I have a question specifically for you now, Charles, because you've gotten most of my references for the TMNT stuff. I know we all hated Class Reunion and the promos for that. How would you feel about a specific Class Reunion style thing for 2025? We wish you a Turtle Christmas, and it's all tap promos from that special.
I'd be fine with that. That's perfectly fine.
Yeah. Yeah, if it's like, and that's it. That was always the beef with the Class Union, right? If it was like shiny alt arts, nobody would have given a shit. It was just the fact they were mechanically unique, and that was always the problem with it.
I don't even think that
Union was designed to be what Digimon did, which was sets specifically designed to bring back some of the old powerful cards that you couldn't get anymore from early in the release.
But it didn't do that.
And then they just changed it last minute to here's booster packs of promos instead.
Yeah. I
could see when they say like the surprises thing, right? I could see them doing like a very small batch, like reprint product, like of cards that maybe what they want to bring back.
I would love to see that. The only problem with Class Reunion was that it was mechanically unique cards in a massively overpriced product.
Yeah.
It didn't need to be.
So the original design for Class Reunion was supposed to be reprinting sets 1, 2, and 3.
Yeah,
that was supposed to be in the box. And it turned into a release of League of Villains boosters after you've already bought your League of Villains box cases, what have you. So it was kind of a dead product due to that, I think, more than anything else. I personally don't have a problem with mechanically unique promos and like that. Basically, it was a 10-card mini set that you just had to pick up some product. To me, that's not the end of the world.
Mechanically unique promos and randomized mechanically unique promos. Randomization really didn't help it either.
Well, they're not promos, really. They're basically a mini set. Because it's not like you had to go and jump through hoop. You had to buy a product.
Yeah, it's a mini set, but it's a mini set where you spend like, I don't remember what it was. It was something like 30 quid for 3 cards.
Yeah, 25.
I think I dropped about 200 to end up with every playset of everything.
I just distinctly remember Luke Quincy dropping $200 from Legendary Wolf Games trying to find one runaway.
Yeah, and you could have bought into a set for that price.
Yeah, I ended up with a lot of extra League of Villains because of those products. I won't lie, but I did pick up a bunch of the things because it was like $20-25 for the promos and the guaranteed one. So it was like, all right, yeah, but I also didn't really feel it was nearly as big a problem as a lot of other people did. And when I talk to people who play other games, like I brought this up at my LGS a bunch of times to see what they thought, and people are like, yeah, there's nothing weird about that at all. So other people, they didn't think it was a strange thing. They thought our community's reaction was the strange.
So the one thing we haven't touched on yet is the Street Fighter Challenger decks. I know a lot of people are a bit more disappointed that they were challengers, but we weren't given an amount of decks, and we know from Star Trek that 2 is not the minimum or like the maximum anymore. So how do we feel about Street Fighter?
We did see only 3 characters in the trailer, but that doesn't necessarily mean anything because we also only saw pre-existing characters in the Critical Role part of the trailer, and we know they're doing more of them.
Yeah, I mean, like, I think bringing fighting games back is fine. I think they need to be cautious with it, just because I don't think fighting games are the way to generate big audiences. I think they're a bit too niche. so I think they should be, like I say, cautious with it. In terms of challenger decks, I know they've obviously they're doing for like lower decks and stuff. I personally do not like release dates of where they've got effectively lots of challenger decks, because again, it's sort of that product overload, and I think that again they need to be very, very careful on a product overload situation in terms of people like buying in and keeping up with stuff. Especially if you've got meta relevant cards in those decks, I think it's becomes a little problematic from that perspective. So
And they have to be meta
they just
relevant
need to be
cards, or
careful.
the challenger decks don't fulfill their promise of
Well,
being
exactly.
competitively
So
relevant decks.
On the other hand, I will point out that challenger deck singles have never particularly been expensive, even when the cards are good. So if you aren't really interested in a product, spending the $5 per card at most to end up getting your place, to get your play set doesn't really feel like a huge ask. If you're like, Star Trek lower decks for me, but I do really need a play set of Mariners, something like that.
Yeah, you're our American.
We've got someone in chat just asking for Bison to come back and make him good.
Well, he is coming back in the game as an MVP guy.
Yeah.
So I wouldn't expect us to get him just because he's a brand new DLC character, but the release character list is pretty solid, and I imagine we'll probably be fine with what we get out of that. Maybe we'll get some jury, and somebody will be excited to see some toes.
Street Fighter is the one with the tiger, right? King, the leopard king, right?
No, King is Tekken.
Right.
Okay.
Yep.
So if
I don't know fighting games.
We're very likely to see King.
This would be like Ryu and Ken, the Shotokan guys,
okay.
And Akuma.
Oh, okay.
Ryu and Chun-Li.
My knowledge of retro is still very limited. I only know from the cards I've played. And for Bison, I just know that he likes to give things breaker.
Oh, I would love to get more Bison stuff in the game in general. But with Street Fighter 6, I do not think that would be a likely thing, just because he's a character that just dropped in the game, if I remember correctly.
Yeah, so it'd be more if we got a set of Street Fighter 6, we might see Bison in there. But for Challenger, it'd be more the headliners.
And then on top
it'll
of that,
be like Ryu, Ken, Chun-Li, Blanca, maybe, I don't know.
We may well get Luke, because he was in the video, and also he's the new tutorial character.
Exactly. We're probably going to get a couple of the newer characters just because that's what Street Fighter tends to be pushing, and then probably a couple name brand people. I wouldn't be shocked to see 4 challenger decks here. I wouldn't be shocked to see 4 with the turtles, because it's an easy sell to do 1 of each turtle. Boom, you throw that on a shelf. That's beautiful product right there.
It's more likely, I think, to be clash decks with the turtles, because we're getting a full set that'll have them in anyway.
Just for me, I would love to see, for the turtles, you get the more technical Donatello clash, you get the Leonardo clash, and you just get Raph with his own challenger, because they're like the last Ronin sort of thing.
Yeah, I see cool. With the Turtles release, I would imagine it's going to be boosters plus the Clash decks as like a beginner, because again, Turtles is an IP that will bring new people in because of the CTA and Ninja Turtles, so they're going to want sort of Clash decks for that. And then I'd imagine that's the sort of time where they might do an off-brand challenger, like a non-Turtles challenger deck, like maybe they throw out a My Hero one there or something, or an Attack on Titan, or insert another IP here for a challenger.
It would be really funny that they won't do, but it would be great if they did.
A collab with Papa John's?
Take the challenger deck spinner.
Yeah. That would be nice. That would be funny.
Going from the article, they did say that we're going to be revisiting fighting games. They never said Street Fighter 6. What do you think the chance of a Mortal Kombat challenger coming next year, or revisiting some of our older fighting games?
So you were around
again, Mortal Kombat, I'd imagine.
Yeah, Mortal Kombat 11 is a popular game. Right? It's a pretty easy sell to people. Fighting games are in a good space. Big problem is definitely it's a fighting games. These generally aren't known for spending money on things. But that are attached other than. But at the same time, that's why I think they're smart to make these test things like the Tekken Clash decks and the Street Fighter Challenger decks. See how well they do. But if we get booster sets, there's that'd be very cool in the future. And there's other fighting games they could easily test out too. Even the Power Rangers one, which loops in with the is that under the Paramount license too? Because that's another thing that.
Power Rangers is one I like to talk about because we will never get Power Rangers because Power Rangers is under Hasbro, and Hasbro owns Wizard of the Coast.
That's fair.
I mean, it's unlikely, but it's a case of it depends. Like if Wizards don't intend or don't Power Ranger stuff in Magic, then it's not unreasonable they might want to license the IP. But it's a case of because at a certain level it's just fucking corporate stuff. So if it's just free money stuck on the table, they'll probably take it. But it might be a bit too expensive. To bring that in.
It's going. You can have Power Rangers, you can have Genshin, you can have Doctor Who. But you have to spend X amount of money. And it's like, we're still a tiny little game. Maybe in a couple of years once we've got this TMNT money in.
Yeah. I mean, obviously, Genshin's still there. And obviously Power Rangers, I think, while I give little to zero shits about Power Rangers, I know there's a lot of people, certainly in the UK, that be very happy with it. Like, I know Steve would love it. I know Mike would love it. I mean, I think it's surprising that the first fighting game they've gone with from a full booster set is Guilty Gear. I don't know if that's because there's that sort of anime crossover, I guess, or maybe just because it was a cheaper license to get for a full booster set. It might have just been finances from that perspective.
I really wouldn't have expected Guilty Gear to be the full set. I would have expected Street Fighter for the full set, Guilty Gear for challengers. But I'm not disappointed.
I think Charles has basically hit the nail on the head there with fighting game players don't have the best track player of spending money. However, we know from experience and from other card games, anime players will spend through their nose to collect and play what they love. And Guilty Gear is a huge IP. Making it a full set out of the bat is much better for testing than trying to narrow something like that down to here's a couple of characters.
It sits in a good spot between it being a fighting game, but it happens to really hit on those anime sensibilities. And then on top of that, there is vague market testing in that Level 99 did a Guilty Gear board game and have done Exceed releases for it. And so they at least have... and the Guilty Gear Kickstarter sold really well for their game, so it at least says that there is some market for it. And that's at least a little heartening. Plus, I think that the characters are so out there and wild that people who play UKVersus will look at the cards and go, "Oh, that character is crazy. I'm gonna play that," because it's way over the top compared to most of the other fighting. The very, very exciting stuff there. Even the basic characters like Soul Bad Guy are definitely going to scratch somebody's itch just seeing them. But there's a lot of fan favorites like the Pirate Girl, May, Bridget. There's lots of stuff there that is really going to scratch people's itches, so to speak.
I'm sure Pip is working on a full article at the moment of how Guilty Gear is going to be adapted in their opinion.
Oh yeah, I think Pippa made a full Guilty Gear fan set at one point.
Yep.
Yeah.
So no, I'm very excited for Guilty Gear.
I did see if Pippa was free to come geek out about it, but unfortunately Pippa wasn't free to be with us today.
Yeah, I played a bunch of
first
Guilty Gear like 3 games ago. Like I have a ton of hours on XRD Sign, which is one of the older ones, but or Accent Core Plus. But either way, I've played a lot of the older Guilty Gears a bunch. I haven't touched Drive them, but
I've
it's
seen a lot of
Yeah, I
Strive.
guess-
I've not played any of it. It's just not my genre.
So just looking at like the overview, right, for the year, there isn't. I suppose there isn't too much in terms of like the anime side, right? We've been pretty laser focused on anime stuff up until this point. We're just dipping our toes a little bit into sort of Attack on Titan and Godzilla. Not Attack on Titan, Critical Role and Godzilla from the challenger perspective, but booster set wise, it's been all anime, right? My Hero, Yu Yu, Attack on Titan. So it's basically been all anime. And now, we've got obviously the Attack on Titan set. We've got the solo leveling challengers, but other than that, we don't have much else on the anime side.
Critical Role has an anime adjacent show of its own, and TMNT. I mean, that's more alongside the fighting game side, I guess.
No, I don't know if Charles would.
It's all its own thing, really.
I don't know if Charles would agree with me as another TMNT connoisseur, but I think like the way they've displayed the 6 IPs, the left side is the anime IPs. You've got Solo Leveling, Attack on Titan, and the more recent adaptations of TMNT kind of fall along the Teen Titans Go side, where they're going with that more fast-paced anime drawing style, so I think TMNT, if it's going off the more recent stuff, is going to be more anime related. I think even in the most recent movie, there was One Piece and Attack on Titan references within the movie. So it's more going along the anime side there. And then you got your D&D, which is a fighting game. Fight me on that. Street Fighter and Guilty Gear, which is the best of both. It's an anime fighting game.
Yeah. Guilty Gear is one of the most anime fighting games out there. You can definitely see why that's in the list.
Yeah, I think honestly the list is about as close to anime as you can get without being actually animes, because most of them are very adjacent properties, and so I think it covers that pretty well. No, you're 100% right. The new Turtles cartoon very much in that anime styling. And it's always been a very Japan connected franchise as is.
That it has.
I don't know about Street Fighter, but Guilty Gear is Japanese, yes?
And so Street Fighter.
Yeah. Street Fighter's get Japanese, Attack on Titan is Japanese, TMNT is American, Critical Role is American, and Solo Leveling is South Korean. So it's a nice little diversity in there as well.
Yep. Nope. I think it's a great slate of releases, and I'm very excited to see what their little surprises are.
I am very happy to be in there. Ever since Alex, aka Jelly, who's left us, as he's not with the company anymore, he's not dead. Oof, I worded that very badly.
I was going to say, you didn't word that the best.
Dropped the last Nationals, he was calling the giant character cards colossal cards. I am constantly just looking for clues and looking for some kind of UKVersus ARG in the game. So if anyone does notice any clues within articles towards new hidden IPs, let me know. I want to do a deep dive into any kind of madness that's going on.
And they've been talking about Star Wars a lot.
I don't think we're gonna get.
I don't think we're gonna get Star Wars.
Star Wars is, I think, one of the very least likely IPs they're going to get.
Acolyte.
Just in terms of cost, access, and the fact that obviously there's already a Star Wars game, right? Disney will never let it go. That basically, I would say anything Disney owned is almost certainly off the shelf.
I can tell you there are countries where it's incredibly easy to pick up Star Wars, but none of them speak English.
I mean,
I've heard a couple of jokes about how Levi picked up enjoying Jujutsu Kaisen second he started working for UVS Game. So that's always a
don't
thought.
don't go down that rabbit hole, man. I was talking with Zoe a couple of months ago, and they went on holiday and they read the entire Rooster Fighter manga. And I was like, "Oh, is that coming to the game?" Like, I don't want to talk about it, but it's a really good manga. It's getting animated, so it's like I've gone down that rabbit hole. And if you don't know what Rooster Fighter is, it's One Punch Man with farm animals.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen a little bit of it, and it
That's
looks
great.
ridiculous.
It's amazing. I cannot wait for it. And it was one of the things that I was aware existed, but until Zoe mentioned they read the entire manga, I was like, okay, I'll give it a look. And yeah, no, it looks absolutely insane.
There's no way we're getting a set of it, but
No.
Challenger, I could see it.
I tell you what, I do want Overlord. Just the movies are coming out. It is still culturally relevant. The fact that we've got these big Titan attacks means that we can literally have Overlord's 9th tier spells be 9 difficulty attacks.
I mean, at least they'd be spells.
Yeah, they'd be spells. It'd be spell support.
Yeah, I would like spell support. I just never got into Overlord. I found it quite boring, to be honest.
The fan service is very annoying, but when you get past the fan service and you get to the political backstabbing and the backhandedness of it,
that is the best bit of Attack on Titan.
Yeah, it's kind of like Rising of the Shield Hero before everything gets straightened out and they love him and it gets really boring. I like those kind of ones.
I did like Rising of the Shield Hero before season 2.
See, yeah, that's the kind of thing. Failure Frame's one I've been watching at the minute, which is very, very cool. It's an anime where an entire class get his Iki'd, and he gets picked up as the weakest by the system, so the goddess just chucks him in a dungeon and goes, die.
Classic.
My big want is Succession. Give me Succession cards. Let me play as Logan Roy.
I'm not too familiar with that, but
it's basically imagine all the politics of Game of Thrones about running a media conglomerate as a family instead of being fantasy setting.
Okay.
Horrible boardroom politics back.
So, what your pitch for 2027 is a Succession, Suits, Law and Order kind of year?
Sure. Well, I mean, I did see under Paramount, they do own the CSI and NCIS licenses, so you know.
Now, give me Bone. Sure, why not?
Bones would be pretty hype.
I mean, obviously, yeah. I'm just going to keep hammering against Windrum until they do it. I
mean, for me,
I think that will be the biggest win.
The fact that we're with Kondansha and we don't have Fairy Tail on that list because they've got Eden Zero, Fairy Tail, and Rave Master, and all I want
give us Rave Master.
Yes, give us Rave Master. I want a Jiggly Butt Gang backup. That's all I want. Just a Jiggly Butt Gang backup.
Again, I think with the Kondansha stuff, that's where we might see some challenges next year, right? Like that's where those challenges come in. I think with some of those IPs where they don't feel like that fit maybe a full booster set, that something like maybe a Ghost in the Shell. Like I would love Ghost in the Shell. It probably doesn't quite have the content there necessarily for a full booster set, but would make an amazing challenger deck.
We've got Scott
spin-off series and stuff rather than just the actual movie itself.
We've got Scott in the chat saying about Marvel versus Capcom, which, I mean, Disney had never given us Marvel, but it'd be pretty cool.
That's why you got to look at Capcom versus SNK instead, because that's much more likely.
Isn't Omni-Man in Marvel versus Capcom or something like that?
He is in Mortal Kombat 11.
Ooh! Let's get Mortal Kombat 11, because then we can get Invincible. And I've been saying Invincible would be great for this game for years.
Oh yeah, Invincible makes so much sense.
Going back to Mortal Kombat 11, though, when MHA started coming out, we heard from Jason that they had 5 sets designed of MHA, or at least were working on set 5 at the time, while also knowing the next 8 sets that were coming. One of those And at the time, obviously, things didn't quite work out. It got shifted up a bit. But one of those was Yu Yu Hakusho The Dark Tournament arc.
Hmm.
One of those was Red Horizon 4, which is never going to happen at this point. And
Yep.
one of those was Mortal Kombat 11, which they already had the license for and designed some stuff for their Tactics miniatures game.
Yeah.
Now, I
Yeah,
don't know
Meta
how
Mortal
far ahead that was, because certainly it wasn't in any of the playtesting that I did. So it wasn't as far ahead as Yu Yu Hakusho was at the time.
I mean,
But
it's
there is
possible
some
that whatever
stuff there
agreement
that
they
was
had
planned.
has sort of expired, right?
Yeah,
So we don't know
licenses could have
until.
lapsed. It could have happened because originally it was a complete rebrand to MHA, the card game, which means Yu was not going to happen. But then it, I think, made the right decision just going out of the MHA card game back into their own individual thing on the UKVersus. And we've been able to get all these hyped up IPs. We've been talking for a while about the 6 new IPs. Let's move on to the other big thing that got dropped by Amazon yesterday. And that is, we got the Dark Deku. Well, Izuku Midoriya on the move card.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm sure UVS will be
Yep.
giving us an actual official list, but I know Corin has been working very hard to decipher what these cards actually do. The only thing I can really take away
So
from
I've
it.
only gone through Deku himself, but I can give you everything he does if you want.
Well, the only thing I could first take away was that Vestiges will be a new keyword or trait coming in, and that's what
Yep.
the action seems to do, is give foundations the keyword Vestige, and then you get some kind of.
Does someone want to give me the TLDR of what the fuck a vestige is in My Hero terms?
A vestige is the remnant of a quirk of somebody else that still lives inside of you, basically.
So if you look at the art on the cards, you can see that behind Izuku is because of like 7 spiritual figures. Those are the vestiges of One for All. If you look,
Yeah, and they all kind of exist as personalities within Deku to just lend him their quirks.
I don't know if it's come out in the anime yet, so big spoilers from there. All for One takes a part of the souls of the people he takes the quirks of, and
that has come out in the anime.
And they drove him insane, which is why he kind of went off the rails as much as he did when he started hearing hundreds of voices within his soul room.
Yeah.
So it's basically a bit like, Rey hearing all the past Jedi voices when she gets the Force thing at the end, right? A bit like that. It's just all the past users of thing. Right, okay.
Yeah, it's kind of one of those things. And as Izuku unlocks more quirks to use through One for All, he's able to communicate with them. And they kind of have like a little throne room. They can sit and see things through his perspective, which makes me think like for his entire childhood. Like after he got the quirk, when he just sat there watching him be really awkward, like injuring himself.
Oh, they absolutely were. And they just went, no, we don't like this guy. We're not going to tell him we're here.
What's going on? He's a dork who keeps hurting himself.
That's like the idea.
He's not ready.
Nana's just there like, that's my grandson. I'm not going to help you beat up my grandson. How dare you?
Yeah, exactly.
But, Karen, would you like to tell us what your hard work has undone, and what does Izuku Midoriya on the move do?
So he is a 6 hand size, 29 health character with air, good, life, void, and water. So a whole load of symbols. Basically, as many symbols.
He's the first 5 symbol character, correct?
Yeah. However, we have seen a lot of 5 symbol challenger decks because they're usually fronted by 2 characters. So that's presumably why we're getting 5 on him right now. I particularly like that he has Void because this is his sort of edgy, depressive arc. So that just fits there really nicely. And it also fits with some of the abilities we've got that seem to be negating attacks, the way that Void likes to do. But his first ability is commit X foundations, transform this character. X equals 2 minus the number of face down cards in your card pool. X may equal 0. Note that some people have read that 2 as a 3. I can't 100% confirm that that's a 2, but I'm pretty sure it's a 2. And so that's how we turn him into his other side. I quite like this because face down cards in your card pool can be anything. They can get there any way. One of the key ways they get there is through echo attacks, which is using the same attack multiple times, which is what Far-Jin is about in the anime.
Nice.
So it plays into one of the quirks that he gets through the vestiges. And so, yeah, I feel like that's a really nice, flavorful part of the character card.
And I think the other side has form that lets you just transform him back.
Yeah, just for free. No cost, just as a form, transform him back.
Which is pretty cool.
Yeah, so he's our first character that can transform back and forth, which I think is pretty cool.
Yeah, I saw people looking at the new Attack on Titan characters and just go, how does this card transform back? How do I get the abilities that I had back? You don't.
I mean,
How with Deku you do.
Apart from Annie, we didn't really see shifters kind of utilizing that unshifting and shifting ability. I think Annie does it once in the manga to kind of get out of being trapped, but usually once they're shifted for the rest of that fight.
Yeah, usually. But yeah, there was a new player who was very confused that she couldn't untransform her Annie.
But Izuku being able to essentially shift gear into these different forms is another one of his vestiges.
Yep, absolutely. Then his second ability is Enhanced Commit 1 Foundation. This attack gets +3 or -3 speed. So using foundations this time rather than using cards in hand, but still very much what Deku, I think it's 2 and 4, like to do. To spend resources to give plus speed and possibly also plus damage, but not in this case. So it also works defensively with the minus speed. So a lot of versatility there. Nice that it's in line with what Deku's done in the past while being a new twist on it. And yeah, good that there's still some semblance of him in amongst all the quirks he's gaining. And finally, for Izuku Midoriya on the move, the front face, we have Response Commit, discard 1 Vestige card. Before this attack's block step, reduce its damage to 1.
Ooh.
Danger sense.
Yeah, that is the danger sense, isn't it?
Just reduce its damage down to the bare minimum that you could take.
Yeah. And in fact, it's the fight with Lady Nagant where he specifically can't escape the attack in time and has to take just a slight scratch from one of her moves. So we do see that exact thing happen in the show.
Maybe we'll see that as part of maybe that'll be the image they use for danger sense, like just the small scratches can.
Highly possibly.
And then his flip side.
So we've got that form transform this character, as previously said, but we've also got form commit 2 foundations. Your next attack, so not this one, gets +2 speed and +2 damage. So I'm not sure quite which one that references, but that could well be another hint at Far-Jin. Because it's specifically looking at the following attack, and it kind of works like twice his ability to give +2/+2 to the second time he plays a thing. Obviously, it's a bit less restricted on Deku here, but
I mean, you've got that your next attack. So if you're doing echo kind of stuff, then that does go in with that.
Yeah, that's kind of what I'm saying. If you do echo attacks, it works exactly like twice works.
And then the last ability
is response commit. After your rival plays an attack, reduce its speed to 2 and draw a card. Skip that attack's enhanced step.
So Toru won, but beefed up.
Yeah, interesting that it doesn't give flash. So you don't actually add to the keyword count.
Also true.
I'm not sure why that's the case, because we specifically saw giving flash in Phantom Threat, but then never really saw it again.
So no, maybe there'll be
giving flash was really. I won't lie. That was a thing we had to talk about a lot in terms of like having to make rulings on judge wise, because people just did not understand how that worked. So
yeah.
And part of that was they showed Phantom Threat before giving flash during an enhanced step happened. But
I am quite well, like, there's no reference of Nana's quirks, so I imagine she'll have a foundation or something in there that just makes something high. But,
Yeah, I'm unless that last one is the gas cloud that he can produce, I'm not seeing that either.
But I mean, the art looks absolutely amazing, and the fact we got the alt arts alongside their main deck comparisons, I've seen a lot of people saying they need the alt art wielding one for all.
They're very cool.
Yeah, very cool. And if they're anything
Yeah,
like
and
the
I mean,
Godzilla alt arts, we're going to have that textured, layered foiling.
This is his edgy, dramatic phase. We've got to see the most dramatic, over-the-top arts, right? It just fits.
So, do we think we're going to get a second character in this, or is it just going to be all Dark Deku all the time?
I'm not 100% sure, but I believe when they first mentioned this, they confirmed that it was only one character, just with two sides.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure it's just the single Deku.
That's what the solicit. Yeah.
Yeah.
And like, I don't know what other character you'd put in there. Like maybe an All Might, I guess. But I imagine it's just going to be Deku.
I mean,
or one of the previous holders of all.
Yeah.
The only other one I could see would be what's his name? I've suddenly forgot it. Shigaraki. Because Shigaraki has the same multiple quirks inside of him thing going on that Deku does, whereas none of the past One for All users really do.
Yeah, no. All Might didn't really have access to the other vestiges.
Yeah, All Might was confused as hell when Deku first started mentioning them.
I mean, there's one other person they could put in there, but they'd have to confirm the second movie was canon, and they could put Katsuki Bakugo in there.
Oh, that'd be hilarious if we got One for All Bakugo.
That would be.
Well, I think that the movies are they feel non-accessible in terms of licensing they have, right?
Yeah, they're separate licensing, and while they are officially canon, there are some things in there that don't really line up, especially with that second movie.
I hate that second movie so much.
Oh yeah, same. The one thing that I really do like from it, though, is in like the first 15 seconds, they finally show Mineta learning something.
For me,
and being a better person, and then that had to be done away with to keep the series the same.
The second movie lost me when Bakugo blasted a guy point blank range with a massive explosion, sent him through 3 walls, and he was just laid over a wall, and then it cuts to him like 2 seconds later. Oh yeah, Bakugo knocked him out. No, Bakugo killed him.
Yeah, let Bakugo do what he says and kill a guy.
He killed him. He was restrained. He's like restrained, like kicking off. Like, no, that guy should be dead.
Yeah. But then we've seen Bakugo have Takeda's fatality used on him like 3 times, and nobody cares.
So, how are you feeling about Vigilante Deku, Charles?
I think it's a really cool gimmick. I like the idea of using the vestiges. I'm really excited for the product. I know my locals are too. It's just one of those things that I think is it's a good choice for a challenger deck and guaranteed to be a good seller. People were buzzing yesterday at the tournament about it, even when these very blurry images were leaked.
Yeah, this and the My Villain Academia arc were very much the 2 most hyped up parts of MHA. So, this being its own product, yes, perfect.
Oh, My Villain Academia would possibly have to be the next set, but we're not going to get it for well over a year.
It's also really weird because the big thing of Shigaraki getting his new powers was just dropped as a back page card in Girl Power for no reason.
I mean, Girl Power had its own issues to begin with, but I think Girl Power being a utility set which kind of just drew from all parts of the anime was a very good idea. It took away from that serialized kind of like set system.
I don't mind that about it. I just don't think Decay Awaken should have been in there because that was very much one of the highlights of the
I think Decay
dramatic moments, at least.
Wasn't referencing him getting multiple quirks, but him being able to AoE Decay.
Yeah, which is very much one of the big moments of the My Villain Academia arc before he undergoes his whole transformation.
Along with Toga becoming possibly one of the most OP characters in the verse.
Yep, which also happens in Girl Power.
You got to kill all the OP ones. We've been going just under 90 minutes. I'm out of slides. Is there anything anyone wants to go back and talk about, or anything anything else you guys want to talk about that's happened over last in the community?
I've covered just about everything, I think.
Yeah, no, we covered
nothing
pretty
for
much
me.
everything.
Yeah, no, it's been a very decent talk. The best thing, last thing you see is we've got regionals coming up in October. Are you going to be playing Big Cat, Charles? Are you looking at going more into the AOT side of things?
I've got a few things I'm cooking up right now. Big Cat is still my default deck for all my qualifiers and what have you. But I've got my irons and a couple fires. See if I can cook up something else I like more. Rainier is another one that's I'm really excited to play around with because I had a ton of fun playing with him in the pre-release, and I think he has a lot of potential too.
You guys don't get Dark Deku or the Tekken 8 stuff for your regionals, do you? You're like the first weekend in October.
Yeah.
Oh, but we do we?
So from there've been no updates in the rules saying that we have to wait. So basically, Tekken 8 drops the Thursday. The Saturday is our regionals. So basically, yeah, we're going to have a completely different meta to Oceanic, and
yeah,
because we're going to have
that's going to be wild if we've only just got the cards.
Yeah, I mean, Apple is probably already practicing with Jin and June once now he's figured out what they can do, because Jin is his boy. I've been testing. I've just built a Joker deck because I'm feeling like doing some chaos because people have forgotten they exist.
Have you got the combo?
What, incubating and combined firepower? Yeah,
incubating and similar things and combined firepower and just ways to clog your card pool to make sure that combined firepower is always on a 6.
Yeah, because then you just as long as you got the incubatings to keep triggering it, because unfortunately Joker doesn't trigger on face.
Yeah, no, you need other ways to trigger it, and incubating is definitely one of them, but there have to be more, right?
Not on Void, as far as I'm aware.
Void doesn't have just foundations that say enhance remove?
Possibly. But usually they're defensive foundations, so I don't want to, like, enhance remove, flip my own attack, because then...
Yeah, but I mean, enhance remove, this attack gets -3 speed. Sure, don't care. I don't care about my attack hitting.
I don't know.
I'm card out my opponent's deck if they block it.
I built it. I'm probably going to play it on Tuesday in the webcam event. I may play it at the local qualifier tomorrow. Anything you've been cooking up, Karen?
I've come across the idea of a dangerous gambit. You throw down special edition collectible with it. Special edition collectible builds committed. You then blitz ready it.
Ooh.
Now, oh look, you can search the top 10 cards of your deck for your next card.
Nice.
Right away.
That's not a bad show.
And in theory, if the character can find one of the pieces, that finds the other one, you can kind of keep looping this. But I've not figured out what to actually do with this combo.
What symbol special edition?
It's Infinity.
Oh, and what symbol is Dangerous Gambit?
Chaos Attuned.
Chaos Attuned. So you can't Sasha it because that would just be a bit crazy.
Has to be a Chaos character, but can be any Chaos character.
If you can Krista, you can keep stacking it on top of your deck for 4 wall counters.
Oh, God. Okay.
Then you've got things
Yeah,
like...
I mean, thankfully this game doesn't really have much in the way of, like, 2-card combo type things. And I'm okay with that.
What do you mean? I've just put an entire video out about how you can keep looping Potato using 2 cards.
Oh, sweet.
Sure. I just meant in terms of things that warrant sort of playing special edition collectible as a tutor effect.
If your opponent's playing damage reduction, you can make it even easier because you just keep flipping potato, and then you use things like the new Momo Foundation and Immortal Shapeshifter to blow it up, and then you just quote a card from your card pool, pick up potato with Sasha. It's a dumb combo, and Kai pointed it out to me, and I made a video on it because it's really, really cool. Richard, what I know you've just been playing Ymir, you've been cooking up some stuff for Levi. Anything else on the back burners?
Just Ymir, really. That's the only other one I've been sort of playing with and having fun. I have put together a little silly thing with Inasa. So like Lightning Rod, Falling Skies, Risky, and
that's a solid character.
Just and like bracers basically, and just lots of ways of blowing up your own stuff, and then bracers them, and just like having 3 foundations of Lightning Rod to do that with.
Do we know what George? Yeah. So, do we know what George was playing yesterday when he won the 2K event?
Gosh, I know people were talking about it as if it was spicy, but I didn't run into it.
So it wasn't Reyna, because nobody would be calling that spicy. They'd just be calling him a degenerate.
No, it was one of the the main decks you would have expected to see. I just can't remember which one.
Fair enough. I'm sure he'll.
After I lost in round 1, I was bottom table.
But George has been making his own content, so I'm sure we'll get a deck list from him about that.
Also, Boar's Cat are usually pretty good about publishing their top 8 lists.
Oh yeah, they will 100% publish it. We left the second we could because we had a 3-hour drive back home.
Oof.
And it's a holiday weekend here, so traffic was a nightmare. I think it took us. With that and then losing an hour due to time zone, I got home at like 10:30 and we left at like 5:15.
Oh, time zones have changed. Ooh.
Well, yeah, for us, Chicago to Kalamazoo, where I live, we cross the time zone border, so we go from Eastern to Central and back. So we gain an hour going into Chicago and then lose an hour going home.
That's crazy. It's holiday weekend. It's Labor Day.
Yep, Labor Day. Yeah. So the roads were full on the evening.
And then, if we haven't got anything else to talk about, we'll wrap it up because this has been just a great chat. Thanks to you guys for coming down, Corin. I know it was a last minute kind of invite for you, so thanks for clearing your schedule.
Yeah, cool to be here.
Yeah.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah,
I was happy to be a guest.
Yeah, whenever we've got a topic like this to chat, I'll always chuck it in the creators chat for people to come on. People seem to be really hyped up about these kind of crossovers, so we'll try and do as many as we can. And again, as always, thank you, Richard, for being here, even though your internet is still being an absolute pain.
Yeah, it's probably up by now, but I got comfy on my phone, so that's fair. Thanks very much, guys, for joining us. Obviously, everyone watching on Twitch and joining in, thank you very much. And obviously, if you're watching on YouTube, as usual, thank you very much for watching. Do all the like, comment, subscribe, all that stuff. It helps the channel a lot. I think we recently hit 200 subs on YouTube. Is that correct?
200 subs at the beginning of the week, and people took the opportunity because we were exactly 200 to get unsub, take pictures of us lying, and then resub, which was funny.
Which is fair.
Nice. That reminds me of somebody on Twitch who had a specific goal when they hit some specific number. I was that number, so I went, right, okay, unfollow, refollow.
And if you do want to see something very cool on our YouTube shorts, you can see Richard opening a pack of Attack on Titan with cheese grater.
Ah, yes.
Yeah, there's a few in that series.
Yeah, there's some really great ones in that series. It's almost up to Guile just eating a pack. We'll call it there. Thanks you guys for being here. Thanks for everyone for watching. And we'll be back next Sunday with whatever news drops from there.
Bye.
Cool.
Bye.
See you later.